Welcome back, football fans. Big Al here on Thursday, November 12th, 2020. And now we'll be taking our first look at the playoff pictures in both the AFC and NFC as we go into Week 10 later on today. Alright. And I will be doing these vids for the most part on Thursday mornings, with the exception of Week 12. I'll be doing those on Wednesday, as we do have a triple header on Thanksgiving Day that week. So with that, we are going to jump into the playoff pictures in both the AFC and NFC. We'll be looking at each team, their overall records, divisional records, conference records, their strength of schedule win percentage, and their strength of victory win percentage. And if there happens to be a tie with any team, I will list reasons on why one team ranks over others. Alright, so we're going to begin with the AFC playoff picture as we go into Week 10. And as you know, there are now 7 teams in each conference that make the playoffs instead of 6. And instead of 2 teams getting a first round bye, that's now going to the top seed in each conference. So, here's a look at the AFC playoff picture as we go into week number 10. The number 1 seed in the AFC as of right now is the Pittsburgh Steelers with an 8-0 record. They're 2-0 in the NFC or the AFC North, and they are a perfect 5-0 in the conference. Strength of schedule win percentage is .447. Strength of victory win percentage is also .447. So the Steelers are number 1. They are your AFC North leaders. The number 2 seed in the conference are the current AFC West leaders and reigning Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, at 8-1. They are 2-1 within the division and 7-1 overall in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is .413. Strength of victory is .388. At number 3 is the AFC East leaders, the Buffalo Bills, with a record of 7-2. They are 2-1, or rather, they're 4-0 in their division and 5-2 in the AFC. Strength of schedule is .507. Strength of victory is .414. And then at number 4 is your current AFC South leaders, who will be playing later tonight, the Tennessee Titans, with a record of 6-2. They are 2-0 in their division and 4-2 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is .477. Strength of schedule, or rather strength of victory percentage, is .420. So those are your division leaders in the AFC. How about the wild card teams as of right now? The top wild card is the number 5 seed, and that's the Baltimore Ravens with a 6-2 record. They are 2-1 within the AFC North and 4-2 in the conference this season. Strength of schedule percentage is .554. And this is the the 4th highest among all AFC teams. Strength of victory is .417. All right, then you have a tie for 6th in the conference with the Las Vegas Raiders, the Miami Dolphins, the Cleveland Browns, and the Indianapolis Colts, all sitting with 5-3 records. The Raiders are 2-0 in division play, 3-2 in the conference. The Dolphins are 1-2 in their division and 2-2 in the conference. The Browns are 2-2 in their division and 3-3 in the conference, while the Colts are 0-1 in their division. Of course, that one loss coming in week 1 in Jacksonville, and 2-3 in the conference. All right, strength of schedule is 588 for Las Vegas, 463 Miami, 508 Cleveland, and 386 Indianapolis. And in strength of victory, you have Las Vegas at 571, which is the second highest strength of victory percentage in the AFC. The Dolphins are at 357, Browns 341, and the Colts 321. Vegas owns the tiebreaker over Cincinnati, or rather Cleveland, Indianapolis, and Miami, based on better win percentage in conference games. The Dolphins own the head-to-head. The Dolphins owns the strength of victory tiebreaker over the Cleveland Browns, and they also own the tiebreaker over Indianapolis based on best win percentage in conference games. So as of right now, Vegas would be the 6th seed, and Miami would get in as the 7. So just on the outside of the playoffs would be the Cleveland Browns and the Indianapolis Colts. Cleveland owns the head-to-head tiebreaker over Indianapolis because they beat the Colts earlier this year. That's why the Browns are 8th and the Colts are 9th. All right. Then you have a tie for 10th with both the Denver Broncos and New England Patriots, both teams with 3-5 records. Denver is 1-1 in division play, 3-3 in conference play. Their strength of schedule percentage is 529. Strength of victory, however, is just 200. And then the Patriots are 2-1 in division play, 3-3 in the conference. Their strength of schedule is 559. And their strength of victory win percentage is 400. The Broncos are higher in the standings because they did defeat New England head-to-head earlier this year. Number 12 is the Cincinnati Bengals with a record of 2-5-1. They are 0-3 within the AFC North and 2-5 in the conference overall. Strength of schedule percentage is 523, and strength of victory is 438. Tied for 13th are the Los Angeles Chargers and Houston Texans, both at 2-6. The Chargers are 0-3 versus the AFC West, 2-3 within the conference. They have a strength of schedule percentage of 515 and a strength of victory percentage of 219. The Texans are 2-1 in the AFC South, 2-4 overall in the conference. Their strength of schedule percentage of 600 is the highest among all AFC teams. But their strength of victory is only 125, which is the second lowest among AFC teams. LA does own the tiebreaker over Houston based on best win percentage in conference games. So that's why they got the Chargers at 13 and the Texans at 14. And then at the bottom of the AFC, you've got the Jacksonville Jaguars at 1-7, 1-3 in the division, 1-6 in the conference. Their strength of schedule percentage is 430, and their strength of victory percentage is 625. And that was, of course, their 1 win of the season against Indianapolis back in week 1. And then at the very bottom of the AFC is the New York Jets at 0-9. 0-4 within the division and 0-7 in the conference. Strength of schedule is 618, and that's the highest among any AFC team. And their strength of victory is obviously 0 since they haven't beaten anyone. So that's the AFC playoff picture. Now let's jump to the NFC playoff picture. And you've got a tie atop the conference with the New Orleans Saints, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Green Bay Packers. All three teams are 6-2 after week 9. The Saints are a perfect 3-0 within their division, including 2 wins against Tampa Bay. They are 5-1 in the conference. Strength of schedule percentage is .529. Strength of victory is .481. And the strength of victory percentage is the highest among NFC teams. The Seattle Seahawks are 1-1 in division play, 4-1 in the conference. Strength of schedule is .471. Strength of victory is .392. And then you got the Green Bay Packers at 6-2, 2-1 in division play, 5-2 in the conference. Strength of schedule is .448. Strength of victory is .420. New Orleans owns the tiebreaker over both Seattle and Green Bay based on best win percentage in conference games. Seattle has the tiebreak over Green Bay for the same reason. Best win percentage in conference games. So as of right now, New Orleans would be your number 1 seed in the NFC. Seattle would be your 2 seed. Green Bay your 3 seed. The current number 4 seed would be the NFC East leaders, the Philadelphia Eagles, with a record of 3-4-1. They are 2-1 within the NFC East, 3-2 in the conference. Strength of schedule is .470, but their strength of victory is only .296. And this is the 3rd lowest strength of victory of any NFC team. In fact, the 2 lowest strength of victory percentages are also within their division. Go figure. So those will be your 4 division leaders. The Saints in the South, the Seahawks in the West, the Packers in the North, and the Eagles in the terrible NFC East. That brings us to the 3 wildcard spots. The top wildcard spot, which is the number 5 seed, currently belongs to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a record of 6-3. They are 1-2 within the NFC South, with both losses coming against New Orleans. They are 3-3 in the conference. Their strength of schedule percentage is .507. Strength of victory is .420. And then both the Arizona Cardinals and the Los Angeles Rams are in a tie for 6th place. Arizona and the Rams are both 5-3. The Cardinals are a perfect 2-0 in division play, having beaten both San Francisco and Seattle. They are 4-2 within the conference. Strength of schedules percentage is .368, and then strength of victory percentage is .326. The Los Angeles Rams is 0-1 within the NFC West, losing to the 49ers earlier this year. So they still have a plethora of division rivals to play over these final 8 weeks. They have a better conference record than the Cardinals at 5-1. They have a higher strength of schedule win percentage at .442. And they also have the higher strength of victory percentage than Arizona, slightly, at .337. However, the Cardinals owns the tiebreaker over LA based on their best win percentage in division games. So as of right now, the Arizona Cardinals would be in the playoffs as the NFC's number 6. and LA would get in as the 7th and final seed in the conference. Just on the outside, at number 8 are the Chicago Bears with a 5-4 record. They are 1-0 within division play, 5-2 in the conference. Their strength of schedule percentage is .513. Strength of victory is .386. Number 9 is the San Francisco 49ers at 4-5. 1-2 versus the NFC West, 2-4 as a whole in the conference. Their strength of schedule percentage is .480. And strength of victory is .294. This is the third lowest among NFC teams. All right. There you got the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions, both at 3-5. Minnesota's 2-1 in division play. Detroit's 0-3. Both have a pair of conference wins versus 3 losses for the Vikings and 4 for the Lions. Strength of schedule for both teams is over 500. Minnesota is at 569, which is the highest among NFC teams. And Detroit's at 515. Strength of victory is 458 for the Vikings and 360 for the Lions. Minnesota does own the head-to-head tiebreaker with Detroit after beating them just this past week. So Minnesota ranks 10th in the conference, while the Lions are 11th. We have another tie for 12th with both the Falcons and Panthers. Both teams are 3-6. Atlanta has a 1-1 record within the NFC South, while Carolina is 1-3. The Panthers have the better conference record, 2-4, than the Falcons, 2-6. They also have the better strength of schedule at 558, second highest in the NFC behind Minnesota, and a strength of victory percentage of 400. The Atlanta Falcons' strength of schedule percentage is 447, and their strength of victory is 360. But Atlanta does win the tiebreaker over Carolina based on best win percentage in division games, because they've only played the Panthers, and they split the 2 games with Carolina this year, and they own the tiebreaker. Number 14, so that puts Atlanta at 12th in the conference and Carolina 13th. Number 14 is the Washington football team at 2-6, 2-2 within the NFC East, 2-4 in the conference overall. Strength of schedule percentage is 455, and strength of victory percentage is 324. And then you have a tie for the cellar in the NFC, and both teams are in the East. Both the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants are 2-7. The Cowboys are 1-2 within division play. The Giants are 2-2. Within the conference, the Cowboys are 2-5, while the Giants are 2-6. All right. Strength of schedule is 534 for Dallas and 493 for the Giants. And then strength of victory is 278 Dallas and 250 New York. Dallas owns the tie over New York based on head-to-head win percentage. So despite the Giants having a better divisional record, Dallas's win over the Giants seeds them higher. So that puts the Cowboys at 15th in the conference, and 16th are the New York Giants. So, if the playoffs were to begin right now, your wild card matchups would be as follows. In the AFC, the Dolphins would play the Chiefs in the 7-2 matchup. The Raiders would face the Bills in the 6-3 matchup. Of course, Buffalo did beat Las Vegas head-to-head earlier this year. And then you'd have the Ravens and the Titans in the 5-4 matchup, with Tennessee having home field. And of course, the Steelers would have the first round bye. And then in the NFC, if the playoffs begin right now, the LA Rams would play Seattle, which is their Week 10 opponent, no less. Only the game would be in Seattle, not in Los Angeles. That's your 7-2 matchup in the NFC. Your 6-3 matchup would have the Arizona Cardinals and the Green Bay Packers. And then your 5-4 would be Tampa Bay and Philadelphia, with the sub-500 Philadelphia Eagles having home field as they are division leaders. And then your first round bye would go to the Saints. All right, so that's a look at the playoff pictures in both the AFC and the NFC as we go into Week 10. And once again, I will be doing these, updating these every Thursday. So next week, we'll be taking a look at the playoff picture going into week number 11 in both conferences. And then for week 12, since that is Thanksgiving week, we'll be doing that update on Wednesday, which I think is the 25th. Yeah, it is the 25th, because Thanksgiving is the 26th. Alright, so like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell twice and get notified every time I drop a vid. I'm about to update each team's statistical numbers, and then we'll jump into the Thursday night Week 10 preview, as I will be giving my picks on the Colts and Titans. That will be coming up later on today, so watch out for that. All right, Big Al signing off. Enjoy the pigskin, and I will talk to you later on. Peace.